Hello. Welcome to the House of Nerd Show. I'm here with a couple of people from Pink Buzz. If you want to introduce yourselves.
How's it going? My name's Joe. Been here a couple times before, or a few times anyway. So happy to be here with you guys on this Sunday morning. Hope we have a good show and we all have fun.
And hi, I'm the reason why we're late. I'm Johnny, and I'm not used to being a guest, so hello.
You're not a big morning person either, right?
Oh no, not really. No, like
Yeah.
and I'm missing church here, so I'm crying. Like,
Uh, what's so crazy is he actually IM'd me last night and he was like, "Hey, it's super chill if he misses services tomorrow. Um, he knows this is his true calling."
The Church of Johnny.
yeah.
Hey, Cookie, what's up? Carlos, how's it going? Got a few peeps in the house already. All right.
Oh, and also, you guys know houseofnerdshow.com is live right now. There's some reviews up for Codex Black from I think the other Carlos, and Ghost Lore from Zach. Pretty interesting. I keep meaning to read Ghost Lore and then I never do. Have you guys read it yet?
Nope.
No.
Zach?
Waiting for the trade, like always.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's some trades that recently dropped. Do you read on Comixology? Do you wait for that to get collected, or do you read those as they go?
I only really read Comixology if like we got to read something fast for a show. Otherwise, I just buy it in physical. Like,
yeah, I do Comixology once in a while. I'll grab the issues as they go.
Because I know the trade for Lost Falls. If it didn't drop this past week, it's this week. That was a good one. Kurt Piers or is it Pyers? Oh, that's a shame. I've talked to him before in person.
Yeah.
And then
I think I read the first couple issues and then I didn't. I don't know if is there notifications you can turn on when the new issues drop to let you know? Because I think I read the first few and then I forgot that. Like
I feel like that's the nature of Comixology. Is like, oh, this is so exciting, check this out, and then I forget for 3 years, and then I'll go back and read it.
They should almost have like a notification when the new issue drops. It sends you like, oh, okay, yeah, that's out this week. They dropped this week, like.
I bet you they do, and I just don't know the feature because anytime I download an app, I'm like, don't ever notify me of anything. And then when I don't get reminded, I'm like, why did I overdraft? And Wells Fargo is like, you told us not to tell you.
Yeah, but I get that completely because I get notifications. Yeah. But if it's something I'm actually reading,
okay, gotcha.
Then I would like to know, like, just specifically for that one issue, like, just let me know when this specific title whenever it drops, let me know, instead of like, oh, we got something new, and it's like, I don't care about this. Like, they send you notifications for every little thing. Hey, we got an update. Hey, we added a little fucking smiley face icon that you can put, or it's like, I don't give a shit about any of that stuff. Just stop sending me shit, Yeah.
You don't want to know when your candy needs to get crushed?
No, I don't want to know that.
Are we lost? Are you guys lost? I guess that's the real question. What are you guys doing here?
Hey, man, that's Spanky. Spanky's in the house.
Yeah.
Am I lost? No, actually, how many times have I been on the show now? Maybe a good 6 times, probably.
Maybe more if you count the sidebars and the all that stuff. Leah, morning.
Leah's in the house.
She had her first pop-up yesterday.
Oh,
congratulations.
Yeah, that was this weekend. Yeah.
I told her she probably needs to have more Shrek stuff for next time, knowing the area.
Do a Shrek big banana hammock underwear knitted with the little ear things coming.
Yeah, Comixology in a pinch, I'll do, or if it's something I've already read before. But sometimes the formatting, and then you know, I know there was like that big drama like last year when they switched over the platform and everything changed. And at first I was like, you guys just give it a chance, it's fine. And then once I started to be affected, I was like, oh, fuck this app. It's awful.
Well, basically, it's anyone outside the U.S. can't use Comixology anymore. You can still go get titles you purchased through the app, but you can't purchase new things. It all has to go through Amazon Kindle. Yeah.
Their reader sucks too.
Yeah, the reader
I dislike
awful.
using it. And I hate that you can't read your stuff offline. You have to like go on, stay on the website, and it's a pain, man. Like I really wish that they made it a little more user friendly, especially with how much they charge for comics, because you're almost paying like physical prices for them, and you gotta, you know, sit there and read it on their site with their crappy reader, which doesn't zoom in worth a goddamn. And yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah, they get you too, like, because some of the titles will be like, you think you're getting a discount and it'll be like a 5-issue series and they'll be like, oh, 99 cents, $1.99, and then the last issue $5.99. We're getting all of our dollars back because we know you want to read this last issue. And yeah, the reader is awful. And then the background downloads, because I was like, my phone has never been like, hey, you can't take a picture memory. I'm like, what is going on? And I go and look, and it was like Comixology, like, so like just gigs and gigs of stuff. And I was like, when did I even download that? Or I feel like it should have an expiration after a certain point.
Yeah, once, because they keep track where you are, right? And like on Kindle, it'll say red. Once it says red, like it should be in the settings. Like once a book is set to red, like after you're done and it says red, it should, like, let's say 48 hours automatically delete any downloaded backup content in regards to that title. Like it just makes for less maintenance, less fucking around on your phone and your devices. And yeah, I agree with you completely there. And it's super easy to do because you can do those settings on Spotify, right? Like I download podcasts and stuff like that.
Apple Podcast trips me up every time because my phone will I'll be like at memory, and then even on my laptop too, because it syncs, right? And so I'll go on there and it's like your memory is like full, like delete something, and I'll go and it's like I have like 48 podcasts downloaded, and it's like and I'm like, I don't even, what is all this?
Because I do like there's a setting on Spotify, you can set it to after it's been played, like once you're done it says played, 48 hours it'll automatically undownload it from your device on Spotify. There's a setting, so I have mine set like that, so then I don't have to worry about going back. Because I remember at one point I didn't have that set up, and I was going down and I was like, I had maybe 20 fucking podcasts downloaded, so I had to go and like undo each one individually, and I was like, damn. Yeah.
Make Joe the president, or would you be the prime minister of Comixology?
Man, I don't give a shit as long as like as long as they listen to good ideas and execute them. Then
then I guess never mind. It's not happening.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
they're only interested in very bad ideas.
Yeah, like just like updates. I hate updates. Fuck, everything was working fine on my phone till you made this fucking update, and now everything works like shit. You know, it's horrible. Yeah.
Uh-oh. I didn't mean to throw that up immediately, but I guess a segue.
Segue to
Kickstarter. Christian Jabari, he's been on the show a couple times. Great artist. Is in one of the stories for this Kickstarter, Black Box Chronicles. You know what? This threw me all the way off. And also, before I delete this in the chats, make sure you guys go ahead and pre-order 𝐬𝐭𝐸 #1. That's the code for the A cover, I believe. And that drops July 26th. I'm pretty sure we're going more in depth later on Han with 𝐬𝐭𝐸 stuff. So
yeah, you have to have Adrian on. He'll be a great guest. So when you guys, you should invite him on. I'm sure he'd make time, and he's a fantastic person to have on. I think people watching will enjoy his sharp wit and sense of humor.
Yeah, I think Sergio already has something in the works on
for that.
So,
yeah. Awesome. Yeah.
I think they're doing it just a little bit closer
to the actual drop.
Yeah. And then this here is Black Box Chronicles, Magnetic Press. Listen, I know it's magnetic.
Oh, so it's a new Rebellum
yeah.
Kickstarter. Yeah.
So listen,
they're on my blacklist. I'll buy the book. I'll just order it through the previews. That's all.
Hold on. Why can't I?
Then you can't get the Peach Momoko cover, man.
Peach.
Uh-oh. Not even be telling my whole business. Out of here.
Her history. It's like, oh, what are you doing last night?
While I'm logged into Han, the email. And he also has another one. And is it gonna share it like right off the top again? I think so. Yeah. And so this is his comic with Pat Shand.
Okay.
Roseblood Manor #3. It's an anthology series, so there's no need to come into it.
What's the idea behind this one?
I think it's like a
haunted house.
Yeah, different stories, and he's this is the one, The Pretender. Censored, you guys. I don't want to hear it. But it's uncensored when you back the project. So I'm sure you pervs will get something out of it.
Oh, I shared some pervy stuff with Mel last night, so. Because I made a post on Instagram. She's like, "What the hell, man?" I was like, "Oh, that's it.
Where is this going?"
I was like, "Oh, that's just EPHK's book." I was like, "He's like, is it full on?" Like, I was like, "Oh yeah, it's full on, man. Active measures." Yeah, that's it. It's like, "Oh, I'll go. I have it upstairs. I'll go grab it. I'll snap a few pictures and send it to you so you can see." And she's like, "Man, you weren't kidding." I was like. I mean, I was like, and I think I snapped like 6 or 7 pictures. I was like, those are just the most graphic ones. Like, and I was like, it's full. Like, every page has something. But these were the ones that were full on, you know, like.
The ones you had bookmarked. Little dog ears.
Where the pages had a hard time coming apart. Don't have to bookmark them.
So you don't have to bookmark them.
Yeah.
Driving to church, but listening on the Bluetooth in the car. Marquelon, listen. I promise I'll sanitize the show before we leave.
You might.
Leave it back how I found it.
Leave it, yeah. Everything will be as it was before we got here. We're respectful and discreet that way.
Not discreet, and you just said, yeah, I sent all the full on.
I guess, yeah. But we're respectful about the, you know.
So do you guys have anything coming up on Pink Buzz?
Yeah. Tuesday, we have Mr. Patrick Kinlan coming on to talk to us about his comic books, maybe a little bit about his music. Joey's been really excited about that. He set it up a while ago, and yeah, it's a pretty big snatch, I guess, for us. I mean, not Sam.
Well, he does have he dropping in June. He has his follow-up, right? Don't Avert Your Eyes. So
yeah,
there's a little bit of a
lot of stuff that needs to be censored in that book.
yeah, it's it doesn't hold back either. Yeah. So yeah, we'll be talking. Yeah, we'll be talking. Yeah.
What time is that?
That'll be 10 o'clock actually, because he lives in Australia. Mm-hmm. So he would have done it at 9, but I was like, bah, I don't want you to rush your morning, like screw up your morning routine. So we'll go on at 10, an hour later than we usually do. Okay. And that'll give him a little extra time to get ready to come on for the show and everything. So
that's Tuesday, 10 Eastern.
Yeah, 10 Eastern. Yeah.
PM,
yeah. Yeah, so we'll have Mr. Patrick Kinlan on. For those of you who aren't familiar, what are some of the books he did? We Can Never Go Home. His more recent Image work was Frontiersman and Antioch, which the trade just dropped last week, I think. So you could either go get that on wherever you can get books digitally, or even maybe at the shop if your shop ordered some. His upcoming books are Leaded Fuel, that's coming out with
Gasoline.
Gasoline. Yeah, Gasoline. Sorry. He has a Stringer coming out for Image, and like I said before, Don't Avert Your Eyes. That's another Black Mass book. So those are
Nothing There, which he did with Maria Lovett, which is really
the follow up to that one. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we'll be talking about his new stuff that's going to be dropping, and we'll talk about some of his older stuff. Shoplifters will be not executed. Shit, I can't remember the other part. Anyway, you know what they are, Johnny.
I'm not sure about that one. I know he did 12 Reasons to Die with RZA, Ghostface, and
okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, we did that on the show a while back.
Yeah, so he's one of the co-writers on that one. His band, he has a band called Drug Church and another band called Self Defense Family. So, and his other band, Drug Church, they're popping off quite a bit right now. So, yeah. So we'll have him on. We'll talk about a bunch of different stuff. And he has 2 podcasts. So if you like hard music, he's got a pretty popular podcast called Axe to Grind. And he has another podcast that's, what do you call it? What did they call it? Not Rude Boy, Edgy Boy podcast, where they just take like people's tweets and try to instigate some reactions from people. So yeah, they call it an Edgy Boy podcast. So yeah, and yeah, so he's got his fingers into all kinds of stuff. So we'll have him on. We'll be we'll be talking about that.
Interesting way to phrase that, but okay, he's got his fingers. Usually you would say hands. He got his hands in. But you went with singular digits, and that's okay too.
Yeah. Hey, take it however you want, man. I mean, that's...
All right. Cop or drop?
Cop or drop?
Should I play the music? Should I do the show properly or semi-properly?
Do it properly. Come on.
It properly.
Yeah,
give Johnny the full experience. Okay.
Yeah, it'll kill some time too.
It'll kill some time. Cop or drop?
Cop or drop?
So Cop or Drop is a segment where 2 books are pitched. Either they're on the same level, 2 trade paperbacks, 2 number ones. Sometimes if there's a lacking, it'll be 2 number 2s, etc. I know we've done full arcs before, but for this week, let's be honest. I've been very busy. I haven't been around much. Was there a Cop or Drop pick last week?
I don't think so. I only caught a part of the show last week, so I don't know.
So we're just gonna pretend like it's a clean slate. So we're just gonna introduce 2 new books, or I will. 2 new books this week. You guys can sound off in the chats, but I'm pretty sure I have a good idea of what our friends here are gonna pick.
They better.
Just based on
I'm leaving the show. Mid show. I'm just walking out. I'm fuck it. Oh no! I better not say that, because then people will vote for the one to make me walk out. No, I retract that.
You retract it? Okay.
Yeah.
You're bringing those digits back in. I'm taking my fingers out of the pot.
Well, unless.
City Boy. City Boy number 1. This is a part of the what are they calling it? We Are Heroes initiative, the diversity or We Are Legends initiative with DC. So this character was first seen in the Wildstorm anniversary special, and the gist is there's a new Korean hero named City Boy, or as some of you may know him, Phil. or at least that's the best translation of what the cities call him. City Boy, aka Cameron Kim, is just trying to make a living by using his powers of being able to speak to cities to find lost and hidden goods to pawn, and it's only just enough to get by. And those abilities mean he hears everything everywhere all the time, including each city's histories and the truths behind them. As his powers get stronger, the cities start forming animal avatars from scraps in order to physically travel alongside him on his adventures. Of course, Gotham is a rat avatar made of city scraps, but what about Metropolis, Bloodhaven, Amnesty Bay, or even Themyscira? And not all cities are so kind. And this is Greg Pak, Minkyu June, Sunny Go, or Gao, Wes Abbott. What's interesting about this is there's a comment on the League of Legends website, and it's like, so his powers are he could talk to the city? Like, yeah, he could talk to the city.
I mean,
that's the same powers that John Hawksmoor from The Authority has, which is kind of funny. They're like, there's like two Wildstorm characters with the same power, but I don't know. Greg Pak is really a solid writer. I've enjoyed kind of YA type books. Mech Cadet U was a lot of fun. So if this is in the same genre, same kind of lane as that, it could be pretty good.
Yeah, the summary sounds pretty. It sounds more interesting now that you read it than, like, if you just presented this to me with the title City Boy. I'm like,
I'm not a fan of the. There was like an old show.
Oh, it definitely needs a better name. I'm not gonna lie. That does just sound terrible. City Boy. Like,
yeah.
Do you guys? I don't know if you remember, but like maybe in 2000 or something, there was like a show on like UPN called City Guys. And like the theme song, every time I see this title, I think of the theme song, and it's like I'm like, I can't take it serious. And then some of it was like, I hope like this is like a genuine like run at an Asian character and not just for the sake of, AAPI.
Yeah, because when you read it, that was a red flag for me. It's part of like, just make it part of DC. Why does it have to be part of like a separate thing that they have to separate from the rest of the DC universe? Why can't you just sell it as a DC title, not part of some initiative, or like, that's a red flag for me. It means they're not fully committed, right?
And I think that's what's important to point out, is that it is important to introduce measures that gets more diverse creative teams and stuff, but like you just said, a lot of the times these characters are introduced and thrown away at like the end of the trend of it being cool to be like, like Black Lives Matter, this and this, and it's like, I wish that the characters felt more authentic a lot of the times, because a lot of times it does feel like
it feels like a PR stunt.
Doing this, it's a cash grab.
It's a PR stunt, right? Like, look, we care. Till no one's paying attention, then we'll just swipe it under the rug, like you said, like they often do.
It's like, we care, but not enough to make you guys actual legit DC superheroes. You got to be part of this We Are the Legends side thing. And,
yeah, exactly. Instead of
it's a little.
Yeah, that's always a red flag when I see stuff like that come up. But the rest of it sounded really cool, like where creatures are created by the scraps from the city, and each city has its own kind of personality, which sounds pretty cool. Like Metropolis will have a different.
Offended. I'd be if I'd be a little offended. Gotham, of course, Gotham's a rat. I'd be like, wow, maybe I'm like a guinea pig. Maybe I'm a gerbil. Like, I'm a rat. Like, you just went for like the most offensive way to put me. I'm a rodent. I'm a rodent American.
Yeah, but do they actually take on the form of animals, or is it just like these weird looking, like entities?
Like pieces of trash?
Yeah,
that's a good question. I've been trying to find pictures from, or like some and that was another little kind of red flag for me, is that usually you'll get like a lot of like teaser stuff, and I haven't. It was really hard to find teaser stuff for this
one
without it being on a website that was like bombarded with ads.
Yeah, but minus the initiative, minus the title, the rest of it sounds awesome. Like, this is something that I'm actually curious about, and I'd probably, like, as a trade, I'd probably pick it up or pick up an issue, kind of like I did with Dead Boys. See, Dead Boys, I was curious, so I picked up a couple issues of Dead Boys, and this is kind of piques my curiosity because of the cities, how he can make these creatures form from pieces of the city, and that sounds kind of cool. It sounds like Johnny said, like, I like Greg Pak, so I mean, I'm in on this. I don't know if it'll get my vote for a cop, but this definitely sounds like it could be a very solid book.
Yeah, and I think even aesthetically, I into the vibe, the outfit. I just hate the title, City Boy.
Yeah, I like that they didn't like
eye. Like, at least it's got that going for it. Like, if it was City Boy with an eye, yeah, that'd be so much worse.
Yeah.
But then when they do like the sequel, it could be City Boys with the IZ.
Yeah. But yeah, I like the fact that he's not all souped out in like a superhero outfit and stuff. So yeah, I dig that.
And our second, or our competing title is Feeder #1 from Mark Bertolini and Daryl Nickram. This one, Lee Kidd was the most famous action movie hero of the 80s, but he's fallen on hard times. With his life in a downward spiral, Kidd has become a shadow of his former self, turning to a life of crime as an enforcer for a local crime boss. But when he's given a new job, can he bring himself to complete it, or is he being given a chance to change his ways?
Full transparency, this is already on my poll, so this has got the edge over the other one right off the start, and it's a Sumerian book. Whom I dig Sumerian as a publisher. They put out a lot of good stuff. We had a guest on last night from Heavy Metal Drummer, who their book is on Sumerian, which we both I loved a lot. Johnny liked it a lot too. So we like Sumerian, and we kind of like a lot of the shit they put out. So yeah. Oh yeah, the art definitely looked pretty cool in it. Yeah. Like, look at the lettering with that. Like, that's beautiful. Like, that's really well done.
Yeah, that's pretty good art for a Sumerian book. It's kind of almost imagey. It kind of reminds me of like Thad Moore's art in what's it called? Luther Strode.
Yeah. It might have the same vibes, right? Because it's going to be pretty violent and stuff. So, yeah.
I just like the idea of like, because you see how could I say this without sounding, I don't want to say emasculating, but you see a lot of these like action stars now kind of being reduced to reality TV show fodder. Coughs Stallone. And it's just really interesting. I'm into the idea of like just like a trash human being, knowing that he was a trash human being, giving a chance to continue to be a trash human being, or like, you know, get it together if that's what you're into as well. And so it's just, I think it's just so funny because it's like the antithesis of what we're seeing with like our real life action stars now.
Or just any kind of fringe celebrity, right? That had their maybe 5 years of fame. Like, you look at like even musicians that had their 5 minutes. They all like, who is it? Twisted Sister had their show. Well, Kiss was huge, so Gene Simmons. But then you had like the Osbournes. Like, you have all these like maybe 80s, 90s super big celebrities that aren't maybe as relevant today to the youth, and then they just put them on, like you say, reality shows, and it piques new interest in them, right? So
they kind of always did that. Remember when they did that with Danny Bonaducci? Like when I was in high school, they were like, I didn't know anybody who knew who Danny Bonaducci was aside from my parents who would make fun of him. You know what I mean? He was Partridge Family, right?
Damn, I don't know. It could be, yeah. Possibly, yeah.
Kid in one of them terrible shows like that.
Yeah, he's like the short ginger, right?
Yeah, the little redheaded.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I think that's Partridge Family. Yeah, I think you're right. I think that was the Partridge Family.
And that's so funny because I'm sure we'll get a resurgence of like trash celebrity reality shows because of the writer's strike right now. Like I'm sure we're about to be bombarded with next
it
gen.
writes itself.
Well, I mean,
just put a camera on them. It writes itself.
When I was in the hospital, that's all that was on during the day, though, man. Like I would like literally have to sit there and watch a Bar Rescue for.
Oh my gosh. No, because
shut it down.
That's exactly how I got into Naked and Afraid. I was in the hospital for like a couple months in like 2016, and I had never watched it before. And when I tell you, the nurses would come in and then come out like next shift, like you're still watching this. I'm like, they play it all day long. Naked and Afraid and Chopped. Like that's all like I watched for like 2 months straight, and I still get, those. Now it's like comfort watches for me because I'm like, yes, I'm in my safe place. Naked and Afraid. And my kids are like, when they first, like my boys, like they're kind of weird about it still because they're like, ew, look at the booty cheeks, they're dirty. And and I'm like, you guys, this is mommy's time. Get out of my room.
Yeah.
But yeah, the feeder looks cool. So I'll leave it to between you guys to talk amongst yourselves and pick our winner. I'll give you 5 seconds.
Well, I know my vote. Are you gonna put up a poll for this one?
No, it's just a 2 for knock it out.
Okay, I'm going with feeder. Just you know how I am. I'm not big on the big 2 anymore. So.
And Johnny.
I'm going to go with City Boy.
Oh, Elle, you got to be the tiebreak, Elle. Good play, Johnny. Well played. All right, Elle, which one is it? You're on the spot.
Hold on. When does AAPI end? AAPI month. Oh, well, I'm going with City Boy.
You're going with City Boy, so City Boy takes it? All right.
City Boy takes it. That, and I'm pretty sure it's probably more accessible for
people.
Fairness sake, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. Like I said, it didn't
Peter,
sound too bad.
I'm absolutely
after you read it out.
Yeah.
After you read it out, it actually sounds kind of interesting. So I mean,
but Feeder for sure. Like I just like that, and then with the homage poster too. It's just so ridiculous, and I hope it just doesn't take itself too seriously. But I really do enjoy the interiors. Like it's very pleasant to look at.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. All right.
Also, I'm not on next week, so it was kind of like no, I'm just kidding. I should have picked something else. 2 books I don't want to read.
we should have set it up to pick like books that Sergio would hate to read, and just set him up for next week. Be like, yo, how'd you find that book?
Sonic the Hedgehog run.
Yeah,
he'll be like, it was caca. Caca.
So now we have something of a little bit of a comic spotlight, no theme song. So this week I asked our friends to read an advanced copy of Dead by Daylight for the show. It drops on number 1 drops on May 24th, this Wednesday from Titan Comics. Hold on. I do have slides for that. So this was, I'm gonna be real, this was 100% selfish reasons why we're doing a comic spotlight on it. Dead by Daylight is my favorite trash game. Nobody said it was good, but it is my favorite game to play when I'm stressed out. Leah usually is who I play with. There's a couple other people, and there's actually like a lot of people in the comic book community that since making the rounds on comic podcasts, you meet a lot of different people, and I feel like Dead by Daylight is like one of those like secret guilty pleasures of like a lot of creators, and I was surprised, and like one in particular. I'm not trying to out you, friend, but also like 𝐬𝐻𝐸, and I was like, it made me feel a little bit better about it because I'm like, I know this game isn't good. I know it's a cash grab 99% of the time, but it made me feel like, oh, there's a community of people like me. And so let me. It didn't, and then I feel like it's kind of even hard to explain the premise of the book. And so the premise of the game is you're one of 4 survivors who is going against a killer, or you could be the killer killing the survivors depending on how you want to play the game. I usually play survivors, so I can't relate to the killers. You're like victim mentality always. And then there's like an entity, like why you were thrown into this world, and then you have to like repair gens, and if you get hooked like 2 times and you die or whatever. Or they could do like their Morai, like their killer special on you and just murder you flat out, which is always like,
when you say hooked, it's like the killer like collects people and hangs them?
Yeah.
On hooks. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you get hooked like 2 times, 3 times is instant death. Explain it as a professional player. No, I'm not. That's the thing. Like me and Leah, I've been playing it for like not since launch, maybe like a year after launch. So I've been playing it for like 5 or 6 years. I've invested money heavily into the franchise, into merch, hoodies, etc. Am I good? No, I'm not. Like every time I start the game, I pray they put me into like the novice group and not in like the semi okay people, because I want to go against people who are new to the game, so I feel good about myself when I win. And so the game is janky, it's glitchy, people cheat all the time, but it's like, it's that game, you know what I mean? There's so many like cosmetics and stuff throughout the world. So interesting enough, for the series, for the comic series, they decided to start off with a 10th entry killer. This killer was not introduced until chapter 10 of post releases. So like the game came out, and then there was 9 other DLC packs before Legion was released. So I think it's an interesting choice for them to start with the 10th set of killer.
So the DLCs include stuff like from classic horror movies, right?
And original IP. So maybe like every couple ones you'll get branded, and then like they've had Resident Evil, Stranger Things, Evil Dead, Halloween, stuff like that. But this was a 10th entry. Legion wasn't introduced until 2018, and his survivor, usually you get a killer survivor in a map with the DLC, and so his survivor I don't think is gonna be, he might be introduced in this one, but in the game he's, this is a prequel. The survivor for that one is like, they don't really run into each other until after the events in here, but we'll see. And in the book, it's described as, in the realm of the entity, it's hunt or be hunted. But before they are taken from their worlds, each killer and survivor has a story of their own. So that kind of leads me to believe that, if this series does well, they'll continue to do minis for the rest of the people.
Yeah. So, okay, I've never played this game, so I read this, and I didn't realize that the killer was an actual character from the game. I didn't know if they were going fresh with a brand new story and kind of going to tie it into the game. So I didn't know this was already an existing character that you could play in the game.
Oh, with extensive lore. That's why I found it so interesting, because each character and killer has very extensive lore in the game that you can find, and read and stuff like that. So I thought that's why I was like, not to say his story, there's not valid things to talk about in his story, but he wasn't even like one of the original like 6 or 5 killers. So I was like, why would you go? But then I also see the allure of it being, a group of teens.
Yeah.
Masked killers. This is probably one of the more grounded killers, not necessarily supernatural, but the frenzy, the spree, and also when you relate it to other, spree killers,
Yeah, Chris Shahan does have one of the variant covers, but there's a ton of variant covers for this. There's what, 8?
And please know that I have them all on order. Yeah, the one on the right is the Sheehan.
Yeah, there's like 8 variant covers for this. There's a lot.
Then there's a 𝐬𝐸. This is the 𝐬𝐸.
Yeah, that one's cool. I think that was my favorite. I love that one. That one was good.
And like those vines in the background would be the entity.
Yeah, and I love the worm's eye view. Like that's a great cover. I love that.
And see, even here, like it kind of gives off like a supernatural vibe, but I feel like for Legion as a killer, it's like more so like that idea of like Ghostface. He's like not necessarily supernatural, but he goes into frenzies where it seems like he could be, or even Michael. Like, how can you walk and catch up to me as fast? Yeah. And so. Yeah. Kind of the same vibes. They have a lot of like really cool cosmetics. Hate going against them in the game. They're awful. They're OP as the players would say. But then people who play as Legion would probably say that I'm just being a complainer. But they are one of the more I have to go against them because each match is randomized. You don't know what killer you're going against, what map you're getting. So this one takes place in 1994 in your backyard, yeah? Alberta?
Nope. I'm in Quebec.
Adrian lives.
That's where Adrian lives.
Your side yard.
Yeah. That's where Adrian lives in Alberta. Yeah. So.
Country cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it takes place at a ski resort. Well, it was once a prosperous ski resort town, 6,000 people, and you have our main character Frank, who dreams of murder. He dreams of murder, and Frank, and glad to see they brought back all of the characters that are in the game as well. The killer is a set of killers where you could play based on what cosmetic you're gonna buy. You could play, Frank, Julie, Susie, or Joey.
Joey, yeah.
Relatable, probably, huh?
A
Canadian Joey.
Guess he sounded kind of like maybe similar to me in high school. Yeah, not quite a jock, not quite a a bit of a loner. Yeah, for sure. I can relate.
You can relate to the right up to the pre-murder part. Like, yeah, he's and
in life, like I don't know if I could have been convinced.
We all stole cop cars and burnt them.
Like, yeah, like we've done some stuff when we were kids, that maybe. Did we ever set fire to any houses or barns? I don't think so, but we had I knew some people that did go around and do shit like that. So yeah, in the country you get bored, right? So you get into some mischievous stuff as a kid when you're bored.
Yeah, and that's kind of the vibe of this. Like Frank has been passed around from home to home, and he's just arrived to his latest I don't want to say set because it seems singular, but to his latest parent, guardian, who is basically like just be invisible and we're chill. And honestly, like in a guardianship situation, sounds ideal when you're like 17. Like, yeah, okay, I'll make myself very scarce. But he's kind of using his past as an accelerant for not caring about anything and nobody and just trying to get his jollies where he can get them. And, of course, that means finding a friend group of like-minded individuals and a little peer pressure here and there. And then
didn't take much. That's all I've got to say. They got on board pretty quick. Yeah,
he's
they got on board.
Smooth talker, man. Frank, he can get like right into people's heads, man. He's a good little cult leader.
Yeah, and without like spoiling anything comic wise, I was like, I probably wouldn't have gone along with Frank only because I'm very scary. So as soon as he was like, there was a scene where he arrives at a party in a way that maybe he shouldn't have. And instead of like being weirded out, the girl is like, I'm into it. And I'm like, no, don't be into it. Don't be into that.
No, I'm calling bullshit on that. I'm calling bullshit on that because we know stories about you, Elle. And you don't pick up on red flags that well.
Oh, you know what? Okay, as a 33-year-old adult woman now.
Yeah, exactly. But Elle from back then would probably be like, cool.
That's weird. I don't even have parents.
You're a tree climber, huh?
If it was coming from anyone else, I'd be like low blow, but it's coming from the source, so fair game.
Thank you. Yeah, like it was like, so when that part happened, I was you know what, you're right, because I did some trifling stuff when I was in high school.
For sure. As adults, you look back and you're like, man, I was so stupid to do that shit when I was a kid. But we all do really stupid things when we're young.
But but when I can say nothing illegal. I was too scary to do anything like outright illegal. I didn't even drink when I was like a teenager. Like when I was in high school, I didn't do any of that stuff. I think probably the most illicit thing I don't want to admit to anything. But yeah, I didn't do anything illegal. Well, outwardly illegal. That would be like jail time.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything against other people. I'll say that. And I didn't do drugs. I don't know. I was just very scary. Like I was very much afraid to get in trouble when I was a kid. So I kind of didn't get in trouble. I broke curfew a couple times.
Yeah, we smashed windows. Go in with a bat into the scrapyard and just smash car windows. When you're bored kid, you just go and break stuff and
That's giving Canadian teen.
Yeah. Obviously, a lot of Limp Bizkit. He's out there break stuff. Yeah.
My reference for like disgruntled Canadian teenager is like Degrassi. And so I'm like, oh, y'all were out there running with all kinds of crazy things, huh?
Yeah. Halloween was especially a night where we did a lot of mischievous stuff. Yeah.
Do you still partake or retired?
No. We anyway, there's a tennis court in the small town where I live, and we grabbed one kid because there was two groups of us going around pulling pranks, Mm-hmm. So we had like kind of this thing, and we tied him up to the fence in the tennis court and stripped him down and turned the lights on.
What?
Yeah, we tied him to the fence, so he was tied on the fence, and we pulled his pants down and turned the lights on for the tennis court.
Hold on, I'm about to clip this to send to Mrs. Pocket so you can get in trouble. Get grounded retroly.
And of course, one of them was too fast. We wanted to get the other one. He was too fast, so we took the slower kid and did it to him.
Not you admitting somebody's childhood trauma right now. They're watching this and they're like, it was Joe. I'm sorry.
Stuff like that, we did we never set any property on fire, but we'd set fires like in the middle of a parking lot and stuff on Halloween and stuff like that.
Can't say I ever started a fire.
Yeah.
I'm even afraid of like fireworks. Like I don't get near them. I'm like, no, what if it backfires? So
we did the poop bag on fire thing.
Listen, bullying brings out the giggling. That man has never played tennis to this day because he...
And the best part is the poop bag thing was I actually shat in the bag and put it on. And when the guy's like, we're all hiding and he's out there and he's like, this is human shit. He yells it out. And we all start laughing. Oh my god. It was just the fact that I was like, how could he tell if it was human shit or not? I was like,
I didn't know you could tell the difference between like outside feral poop, like between animals and humans. And this is gonna sound awful until I moved to South LA. And I'm used to living, I was like, Orange County. I've lived in like Decatur, Georgia, but like the hood I have never lived. And so I get out there one day, I'm like taking out the trash, and my husband was always telling me like, don't go out that back gate unless I'm here, blah blah blah. And so I went into the alley to like something had like rolled under, and I go out there and there's like poop in the corner, and I'm like, that is a big poop. That is a big poop. And like the smell from it, I was like, it's almost between like baby poop and like I don't know what kind of animal that could come from. And my husband is like, get out of here, like that's human like poop or whatever, like drug poop. And I'm like, drug poop?
Junkie doo-doo?
Yeah. And to this day, if I even get like a whiff, like I hate going to Los Angeles sometimes, because sometimes it just smells like that, like in the air. And the
junkie droppings. That's
and it's like, and so now like, ew, yeah, he's like, yeah, that was human. Yeah, he knew it was. Maybe not laced with anything, but because that's like a smell that gets in your mouth and like everything.
God, is that's gross. That's gross. All right, let's.
And so also in gross things, it was the year 8 roadmap was released for the 7-year anniversary of the game.
Nice segue.
And this and this means literally nothing to anybody, and I know you guys do not care, but I do want to say that they did announce that Nicolas Cage is being released as a survivor in the game in July. And it's funny because he's literally, if you look at the map, the road map, he's just being dropped. New survivor. And he's being released as himself. So I'm super curious to see if like how meta it's going to be, if it's making fun of himself, or if it's just going to be super unironic. He's just in the game. It is what it is. This is the first time a person has been themselves in the game. We've had Ash, obviously.
Okay, but
this is the first time that it's just like, why? But also, like, when I saw the announcement, I was like, why not? Like, why not?
Because when I first saw it, I thought it was this character from Willy's Wonderland. It kind of looks like him, and that would make sense to put him kind of in a horror game. But like, if it's just Nick Cage is Nick Cage. That could be a lot of fun. I hope there's a button you could press to make him do one of his freakouts. That would be great.
Yeah, I hope they release skins and you could be like John Travolta, like from Face Off.
Acting like Nick Cage.
Yeah. But I think there's just like so many possibilities like for skins for this character that I'm like, or for this person. And I love like they went with like the faint guy liner and the just for men brown beard. I was like, I'm into this. I like it. He looks like he's about to have an episode.
Yeah, exactly.
He hasn't had his coffee yet. Like he looks grumpy in the morning right there.
Yeah. So for the book, as someone who's never played it, I thought it was a decent introduction for the characters to get a feel for it, because I'm aware of the game. I know the idea of the game where you have the hunter and the survivor, or hunter-prey type style of game. So I had no idea. Like, until you told me today, I didn't know that these were actual characters. So I thought they did a pretty good job of telling some backstory, introducing the other teens that make the group of killers, and for an introductory issue, I thought it was really well done.
Yeah, for me, I thought they were setting up future victims for a slot that was going to be coming out. So if I didn't know that and I kept reading, I would have probably been pleasantly surprised to find out that it was actually the slasher's origin story. Like that's pretty interesting. I didn't see that coming. I actually thought that I was picking out who was going to die first when I was reading the book.
The group, that little group. Yeah, exactly. Like when they started playing Truth or Dare, I thought one of them was going to become the first victim.
Mm.
You know, like Truth or Dare, you're like, oh, okay, now the stakes. Like they're going to start daring each other to do crazy shit, and some crazy shit's going to go down, right? So I thought that's when the bloodshed was going to like really get going, but it's great the way they set it up. So it's really a setup issue, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You get the great teen angst scene. Like I was totally hearing that Charlie XO song, "I don't care, I love it," when they're running around doing all their chaos. I don't know why I heard that song particularly, but in my head.
It would have fit though. It would definitely fit. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like I was just I guess for me as somebody who like knows the lore and you know I'm invested, like I was I enjoyed it, but also I'm like, oh, but you guys could have, you know what I mean? But that's nitpicking. Yeah. And for if I had known nothing about this series, this would have been a fine first issue. I'd have been like, oh, okay, like is this going to be a slasher? Like where do we see the entity and all that come into play? Even for it to be a prequel, because you are branding it as Dead by Daylight, so.
Well, you see, if you don't know anything, you're not even really sure about an entity.
Yeah, right? They don't set that up in this book.
Yeah, you just think it's going to be all slasher, like a regular
human killer.
Yeah, exactly. So
but I don't know if that would have been enough for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Going into it, do I want to read another slasher? You know what I mean? That's what that's where I would have been like, I don't know if this is a series I'm going to keep reading, simply because if you didn't know anything, it's like, oh, this is just another teen slasher series.
Yeah, but it was well done though.
Yeah, and it was set up differently. Even if like these characters were the intended like survivors, like they are very chaotic and like they do a lot of evil stuff in this issue. So I thought that would have been a kind of an interesting way to like kind of introduce your main protagonist, but since they're going to be the aggressors in the series, it kind of makes a little more sense. But like I still thought it was interesting framing of the characters because they're especially because the other three pretend to be like normal people, but like it didn't take Frank much talking to get them to
no not at all. Yeah. Like
so it's hard to pick because like even with Frank, like even if we're looking at him objectively, right, if he is the main character of this series, it's you don't even want to root for him though, because it's like you're clearly unhinged since birth.
But you see, it was kind of like the vibe I got was where he's manipulating them till maybe the rest of the group decides, okay, this is too far, and they turn on him, and that's where that's where I thought it might be going. Where okay, they're going along, it's fun, it's dangerous, it's exciting, right? Frank is the bad boy, so they're all like, until he does something extreme, then they're like, whoa, and then Frank turns on them, right? Okay, well now you're not with me anymore. I'm gonna hunt you now, or like I thought it was gonna be like one of those things, you know, like your typical '80s bad, like the girl falls for the bad boy who ends up being a really bad boy, and then it's a fight for survival, right? I thought maybe that's kind of
this is more pack mentality. Yeah. They feed off of each other's energy. Even in the game, I think his like their power, one of their perks is like feral frenzy. I could be saying it wrong, but basically they feed off of each other's energy to become like berserk, where they could do like combo chains and stuff. So like I do like that angle of it, and it was cool to see it outside of the game, like in a narrative way. Where it's just a group of assholes.
just fucking bored teens.
I knew I hated you in the game. Now you're giving me more reason.
Confirmed. Yeah, exactly. Confirmed.
You're a bitch.
Yeah, so I'll definitely give it a well, you guys like to use the term cop here. I'd give it a cop for the first issue. I'd definitely be interested in reading, like, see where the second goes and see how they handle it. Like you said, Snook, you like his art, and I thought his art was
the art style was great in the book. Like I
spot on. Yeah. I thought he did a good job. Who was the colorist? Did he do the colors as well?
Oh no, Emilio
Okay.
Lecce.
Yeah, so I thought the whole thing was pretty solid. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think Titan, they're pretty. I feel like they're pretty known for their comic adaptations, and stuff like that. So this is one that I felt was more on the successful side of being adapted.
I
I
think
didn't know they had done so many. Like I saw that they did a Dishonored book. Like I actually like those games. Did you read the comic for that? Was that any good?
Not
I
only love the
never
comic,
did.
Dishonored is my jam.
Yeah.
And you know when like you're just everything's really quiet and then sometimes you just hear noise. And for me it's always like enhanced eyes. Is that what he says? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Enhanced
mask.
eyes. That's one of the games where like when the collectors drop, didn't even look at price, buying.
Oh, yeah.
Loved the Dishonored series.
Yeah, it's
And
cool. Nice. It's an interesting world and stuff. It's well made.
um but yeah, that's that for Comic Spotlight. Dead by Daylight will be have purchased, will continue to purchase.
Hmm.
um yeah, and then I didn't even realize how many number ones there were until you said that, and then I pulled up my order and it was like, oh yeah. And then I was like, oh, that's why. Because also lately, I don't know if you've noticed, but like Kickstarters, the little backer kit things,
Hmm.
I've noticed recently that I've been getting like random charges, and it won't say backer kit anymore. It's like whatever company the creator has set up for themselves. And so me not knowing, I'm like, keep getting these $5 charges. I keep getting these $10 charges. And yesterday I finally like reversed looked up like the phone number on the accounts, and it popped up with like a creator and like their home address. And I was
Oh,
like, ooh, that's not good. This person should probably know that they shouldn't do that. But also when I once I saw what it was, I'm like, oh, it's for backer kit. And I'm like, and so I have to say, as somebody who I'm a stickler for things with dates, like certain time frames and stuff, I'm like super not into backer kit and them just
no.
being like, hey, we're just randomly gonna charge you. I like to know ahead of time.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
hey, we need that shipping money now, even though it's been like a year since you.
Yeah, and that's what happened over this last week. I've gotten like 5 or 6 like hits, and I'm just like, what is this even for? Like, and not an email, or the email will come later, like after I've already been charged for something.
that would be like okay. Back like if Backer Kit sent out an email saying next week for this
Yeah.
project we're going to be taking the shipping. You know,
Hmm.
just a courtesy email to remind people like, hey, this is coming, because it is off-putting, right? Because
Hmm.
there's so much fraud now with stuff, and you're like, right away you think someone's fucking hacked me or is robbing me, where it's just like Johnny said, it could be a book you backed like a year ago that you
Hmm.
just don't remember. So in your mind, you're racing like someone's robbing me, right? But it's just the shipping that wasn't charged to the Kickstarter when you backed it. So I totally agree. They should send out a courtesy email saying, "Okay, next week, Backer is collecting all the shipping fees for this project," and you specifically state which project it is. That's their fucking job. That's
Especially
that's the
when,
whole reason
yeah,
why they exist, is to manage this stuff for the
yeah.
creators. Do your fucking job or fucking get rid of it. You know, like I mean,
Or even as the creator, if you're putting in, this is when I'm putting the shipping things through, backer kit should send out a notification and hold it for at least, I don't know, couple, like send out an email first and then take out the funds. But for it to be like instantaneous, and which is fine, because again, it's like obviously it's a luxury item. I'm backing this. I know that I'm spending money on this thing. But also, like you said, when it's like a year later and like backer kit is like, hey friends. And especially when you're out of country or out of the region where the book is coming out, and it's like a $20-$30, that's like, that shit adds up. So but I
yeah.
did fully back Bug Kiss though, and it did go through successfully. So can't wait to get that. I think it even unlocked micro lips. um so I think you get that
My
with it too.
micro lips.
Yeah, the little Bug Kiss
The bug kiss thing?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah, I saw that pop up on. I was making sure that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, I backed it. And that was my Mother's Day gift to myself. I said, you know what? I deserve
To go out and be able to kiss bugs in the world?
Well, it's more the idea of it. This is such a stupid, funny thing that I can't believe it actually went to production. And so, because my husband even was like, you won't even like kill a daddy long legs, but you're gonna go kiss bugs. It's like, no, it's the idea that if I wanted to, I could be a bug kisser.
How did they explain it? Do they like give you bug enzymes that you put to attract the bugs?
No. This is all from a shit post on TikTok. He makes like bootleg products.
Yeah.
And so this was just one of them where it was like just a joke, but it got so many hits and so many views. He kept doing it. And then people started to like emasculate him and be like, what kind of man are you where you're going around doing this? And he leaned into it and he's like, I'm going to kiss the Black Widow. I'm going to kiss. Like, I'm a man. And so it just got funnier and funnier. And then finally, he released it as a Kickstarter. And when I tell you that funding was out of control, and I was like, yes, because it's so stupid. And then like it even comes with like a little book where it has like the bug kissability ratings and stuff like that in it. And it's just so ridiculous. And Steve Buscemi is one of the bugs in it. And it's so ridiculous. And I just love that it's just because my husband was like, why do you need that? I'm like, why do you have a Stan Lee doll in your closet? Like, I just want something that brings me joy. And I feel like right now, this brings me joy. So I think it'll be a fun thing.
Is his Stan Lee doll like a ventriloquist doll?
It's a live doll. No, I'm just kidding. It's a.
Oh, he's back there. Listen here, true believers.
Yeah. He's like me and Stan Lee need to 𝐬𝐸𝐴𝐸𝐸. No, it's like I don't want to say like a Barbie doll. It's like a collector's item.
Okay.
But
is it still in the box?
Yeah. And he keeps it hidden from the kids and stuff. And so it was kind of just like, I mean, you got this. Let me have my bug kiss.
Yeah.
Because I stopped buying Funkos because my kids refused to not touch them. So I just kind of stopped with that. And comics for me lately have been like, if it's not a Kickstarter, I don't really care.
Yeah, kids. It's hard for kids, because I have all my all my action figures in a display downstairs in the living room, and every time a little kid comes in, they're like, because it's displayed so they can see everything. It's not like in a toy box where, so they can be like, oh, and they get all excited. I'm like, no, you can't touch any of that. They're like, what?
You're like, not this grown adult man who used to lynch people at the tennis courts telling us we can't touch a toy.
That's right. At your own risk. If you like your fingers, if you enjoy keeping your fingers, don't touch.
They're going to shit on their front porch. That was for Timmy.
That's for touching my Batman. You got to shit on your porch.
And then you got to explain to like your actual relatives why
my sister.
You're harassing your nieces and nephews.
I don't understand. Every time Tyson Cousin stays at your place, we come home with shit on the porch.
You send him home with a baggie.
Here, Ma, this is for you. It's the price. It's the fee to play with Joe's toys.
At least it's not drug poop. That's all.
Oh yeah.
Just
what's your watermelon Red Bull? It's got red streaks in it.
Yeah.
So from there we can go into weekend review.
Yeah.
And as Joe likes to say, we kill some time. Weekend review.
Nothing came up. It was just a black screen. It's like, oh, show's over. It's done.
Are we live right now?
Yeah, we're still going live.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh well. I don't remember what weekend review screen is. It's pretty much the same as Cop and Drop.
It had lips and it played like some Talking Heads type music. I saw it, dog.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, it didn't come up on my screen. Oh well. I digress.
Not focusing, man.
StreamYard heard about you, and they're like, no extras for this one.
Yeah, you got to pay for it in Canada. You got to pay the extra tariff.
Probably, yeah. They're like, oh no, you got to pay extra. Yeah. All right. So I guess I'm first. My 3 weekend reviews are all Kickstarters. So I kind of did a little Kickstarter reading, caught up on a few of my Kickstarters, and Ethos. This is a book by R.L. Black. Vantage Comics is his imprint. He's self-published. This is a Kickstarter. It's a story about Frankenstein's monster. And it's very much based on actual events of his life, like, because he's a recovering addict. So a lot of the story is based on like recovery, coming to the realization you have a problem. And so anyone that suffers from any kind of addiction or are in recovery will have maybe connect quite a bit to this book and the overall themes of it. And the art in this is fantastic. I love it. It's got like that throwback style to it. It even makes me think of a little bit of Charles Burns, a little bit, the style. Oh, you got your Frankenweenie, which is not the Tim Burton movie, but the
full disclosure, I did put a star over it just because I felt like if it had been a little bit smaller, it would have been like YouTube friendly. But when I tell you,
the monster has a monster. Yeah. The monster has a monster, man.
So I felt like maybe this is a little bit too much this is where YouTube would consider it for sexual pleasure and not art.
Yeah.
So
and like if you show
base, man, like
if you show the next pic, yeah, the next
page, I thought you said show.
You'll really get like the Charles Burns vibe to his art, like where he's looking back there. You definitely get like that Charles Burns kind of feel to his art. I love his color palette that he chose for it. It's got that throwback kind of like EC horror comics type feel. Yeah, and like he said, he just wanted to make a book with the monsters, like universal monsters like Dracula, Frankenstein. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein or Bram Stoker's Dracula. He wanted to put that feel in it, and it's incorporated. Like, this Frankenstein creature was created by some German scientist who I'm not sure. I believe he's either works for the Nazis or he's kind of forced to work for them. This is the first issue, so they didn't elaborate if he's actually forced to do this work for them or if he's actually in cahoots willfully with them. So, and Frankenstein, I find, has, like, when I was going through, if you go back to that one before, I always called him like Frankenstein Trent Reznor, like he's got that Trent Reznor look to him with the emo haircut and stuff. So it's like kind of an emo Frankenstein monster. Yeah.
Now, were all of his parts picked in Germany, or?
I'd have to.
Because he might be. No, I'm just kidding. That might be a clue.
Yeah. So, I mean, I love the art style. He just finished up a Kickstarter for a wrestling book called WTF something. So he just finished a successful Kickstarter. And he has another one called Fantastic Adventures that are on his. If you go to RL Black on Instagram, he has a link in his bio that brings you to his shop, and he has a bunch of other books. And the other one is Black and White, the fantasy one, with just a touch of color in the backgrounds and everything. And it's really effective because the main scene is in black and white. Then he puts splashes of color in the background, which really makes the black and white characters in the foreground pop and come out. And it's a really effective way of just doing a black and white comic with just a splash of colors. So, and I dig his work. Like, all those books are beautiful. So, I mean, definitely visually, it's a fantastic book to pick up.
Yeah, I see his. I see you can buy it now directly from.
Yeah, this one's available on his website. Yeah.
I would be curious to know if this was on gloss paper or matte, just because I feel like on matte I would buy it without question immediately.
Yeah.
It feels like it has that smell.
Yeah, exactly. It has that old
If
school.
it was on gloss, that'd be. I would still get it, but I couldn't huff it,
Yeah, he has a couple other books. He has one that's free, one of his shorter books is free on Kindle. I think you can get it if you have a Kindle or 𝐂𝐸 subscription. I don't remember the name of it. I read that one too, and it was kind of cool. It was kind of like a cult, mass hysteria type thing, which was kind of fun. Yeah. So that's RL Black. That was a Kickstarter I backed a little, maybe. Most of his books are pretty much almost fully completed when he does his Kickstarters, so I think the turnaround's fairly good. Like, I think this was a book I might have backed less than 6 months ago, and it's actually out, and you can order it on his site. Like, he shipped out all the copies, so he definitely gets his books out within like 2 to 6 months within completing his Kickstarter, which is, I think, fairly reasonable. And this is a good book. It has maybe it was 55, 60 pages, so you get a good first issue. Like, it's chunky, you know. You get a good amount of story in one issue.
Yeah, it looks cool. I like the art, and then on the images it has on here for the print, it pops so well off the page in that art style. Look, I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, it's good. I enjoyed it. This one.
Apologies for because I just dragged and dropped. So.
Yeah, that's fine. I was done. That other book was RL Black. I think he's under RL Black on Instagram, so you can go follow him on Instagram. Click the link in his bio. I see Elle put the link here, or you can click the link there. Go check out all the stuff he has on his shop online. The next book was another Kickstarter. This is an older book that he re-kickstarted for the first issue because he finished up his second issue. So he did a Kickstarter for issues 1 and 2, but I'll only talk about issue 1. Is 𝐬𝐴 Pit Fighter. This is by Kirk Burdick, and this comic is quite the wild ride. I mean, it's
yeah.
It doesn't follow any rules. It's just whatever came in this guy's head popped in his head and be like, this would be fucked up. Let's do it. And he does. Like, I mean, if you want, if you go, I'll show the pics. I just picked the most subtle, mild pics because it gets crazy. Like, like this little girl sees this creature show up and she thinks it's an angel, goes and sees her dad. Daddy, I saw an angel. And he just slaps her, straight up slaps her. See it, like, stop talking shit, you know, like, you didn't see no angels. And you know, so that's mild for what's in this book. Like, little kids getting slapped is like nothing compared to the other crazy stuff that happens in this book. Yeah.
One second, I'm trying to share because he looks like he sells them on Etsy.
Okay, yeah, possibly, yeah.
But
the Kickstarter just ran what? How long ago did that Kickstarter run, Johnny? Within the last 6 months?
Yeah, I think probably closer to the beginning of the year.
Yeah, so it wasn't that long ago. It was maybe 6 months ago, yeah. Not more. Yeah. So then all of a sudden these
like in Germany in the the 1600s, I believe, right?
1800s.
1800s, yeah.
Yeah. And so like these are it's not even explained. These are like
heralds of
alien Satan worshippers or alien demonic beings. Anyway, and they show up and they're like, we're going to destroy the planet and we have our champion. And their champion is 𝐬𝐴. And he shows up and just tears people apart, right? So then bloop, that's 𝐬𝐴 showing up. That's how he shows up in this spectral flare. And then, yeah. I don't think I gave you a picture of 𝐬𝐴, eh? No. I'll save it for if people want to read it because he's a funny design. It's interesting. And look, that baby getting punched is pretty much sums up the book, the insanity of the book. Like, babies getting punched, kids getting slapped. I mean, and one thing I appreciated, there's a little detail that I liked in this is I love all those goat videos of goats getting scared with the straight legs. So you can see the goats that were around in the field that when the aliens show up, they're all like laying on their side with the straight legs. And I just cracked up because I love those like viral videos of goats getting scared and stuff. And I thought that was a beautiful touch. I was like, oh, we got all those goats laying around with their straight legs. So
the book is gorgeous. I mean, it's a beautiful book for being as just silly and crazy as it is.
Yeah. Like the goats laying on the side. And those goats laying on the side, it just doesn't end there. There's scenes that come in later with the goats and Galacto.
Okay.
So yeah.
TVG
What?
or MA? What's going on
Mature.
with the goats? Mature.
Oh,
It's more of a gore thing than.
Oh, okay.
yeah, gore. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, more gore. Yeah, there's no
So
goat
not
fucking.
the goats laying down.
No, there's no goat banging. There's no. It's more like because the guy just uses anything as a weapon, right? Or like anything. Like, and his introduction is pretty spectacular too. Like, he just shows up and there's no monologuing, right? He just shows up and he does what he does best, just tears people apart. So yeah. So if you like those, like, I wouldn't even call it a wrestling book. Like, you think it's going to be like some kind of wrestling style book, but it's the second one a little more so. But even then, it isn't really a wrestling book. It's just straight up gore fantasy, right? That's basically what it is fantastical gore fantasy is what this book is, and it's awesome. It's well done. If you like crazy unhinged, like, the story makes sense, like the way it's told and stuff. It's not like you'll be like, oh, what the fuck did I just read? You understand what's going on. It's just, it's over the top. Everything about it is over the top. The art is beautiful, like Johnny said, and if you like gore comics, this is definitely a treat for anyone that likes like those gore comics. So
well, and it's really funny too. I mean,
yeah, the humor is good. Like I said, you had the goats with the straight. Like, he puts little things in there that are kind of.
Well, you have the night sun and the way he's holding his sword all upside. Like there's some really.
It makes you think a little bit of what do you call them? The British guys there.
Monty Python.
Monty Python vibe to it. Like when the beginning with the guy and his son wants to be. He's too dumb. Like the German army doesn't even want to take him in as a soldier because he's too much of a liability. Like, there's a bunch of little things in the story that definitely, you know. And the little girl has a pretty prominent role in the second book as well, the sequel. So it's fun. Yeah.
I probably would have pieced out after number 1. Like, I'm not getting slapped again, guys.
Well, that gets resolved. That gets resolved.
She gets slapped on the other cheek. Even it up.
Yeah. So that one was Kurt Burdick. If anyone's interested, go check it out. I believe he's on Instagram. I think you can go follow him on Instagram. Here's another Kickstarter I did. This one was done by I think it's C. Raygun. CEE, you'd pronounce that C?
Yeah.
Yeah, C. Raygun. C. Raygun's the creator. This story is of a galactic dishwasher. He works at some galactic diner or cafe. He's a dishwasher, and come to find out, he's actually a pot dealer, and he has the best weed in the whole cosmos. So some people are after him because of, I don't know if he stole it or how he got it, but anyway, there's a contract out on him, and so it's just like a bunch of hijinks, misadventures. He meets this little Martian kid named Elliot, who gets hired to go work as his in the kitchen with him to get the dishes, bring them back to help him wash the dishes. And I don't know, like at the bottom, like it's kind of, it's a funny book where he's like, "Are you high? No. Do you wanna? Do you wanna be?" You know, it's stuff like that. So it definitely has like a Bill and Ted kind of a vibe to it. The way the two characters are just fuck ups and stoners, and it has a little bit of a Hellboy vibe to it. For the main Scrape is the name of the dishwasher, and he has the big red arm. That's not a stone arm, but it's a mechanical arm, and he kind of uses it the same way Hellboy does. It's got a little bit like 90s Lobo vibes to it too. Like he can be a little crass and uncaring, and his attitude. So yeah. And it's pretty cool. You got all this cosmic stuff. You got the hitman that comes up, the assassin. There's a scene where they fight. I mean, the art, I love the art in this. It's got that loose, sketchy feel to it, which I dig. It's really good. And
it kind of reminds me of Raphael Grandpa's Mesmo delivery.
Yeah. So now, like, at the end, something happens, and I think the real adventures are going to get going now. That's one of the last pages where Elliot and Scrape. Yeah, and so I'm anxious. He's C. Raygun is going to be launching his Kickstarter soon for issue 2 of this. So I'm assuming, like most Kickstarters, you'll be able to go pick up issue 1 and 2 at the same time. So look out for this, because issue 2 should be hitting Kickstarter within months. I saw him announce something that he's getting ready to gear up and start the new Kickstarter for issue number 2. And this was a fun one. If you like just wacky space adventures, cosmic stuff, like bounty hunters, stuff like that. They even make fun of Star Wars in it a little bit with the people in the diner. Some people have some lightsabers, and they're like, no lightsabers allowed. And anyway, there's a bunch of funny stuff, and like, yeah. So if you like stoner comics and you like space stuff, it has a combination of those two things. Yeah, Scrape. Fun read, really fun read. Yeah, so those were my three books, and they're all Kickstarters. So yeah, look out for that.
Johnny, did you?
Oh yeah. I didn't send you any pictures. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. I can pull some.
But I'm going to start off with Kings of Nowhere, Book 2.
Yeah.
This is a kind of one that I discovered at the beginning of the year, or no, right around Christmas, at the end of last year. It's Dark Horse set of graphic novels that they're putting out. It is by a fella named Sarush Barish.
Who lives in Toronto, actually.
Lives in Toronto, and this is a pretty cool crime drama, very streetwise, but involves anthropomorphic characters, and like most of the main characters are like human ape hybrids, but there's like a rabbit dude in there, and there's like this penguin guy in the second book that's really funny called Stone. And the second book, it's a lot more street level. Like the first one kind of was more like about a mafioso's kid who kind of is always getting treated like trash by his dad, and kind of starts hanging out with these other they call them beasties, and they take his dad down in the first book, and like he becomes a person as well, and by eating a mushroom. That's kind of how you do it in this book. But I really like it. It kind of reminds me of a mix between Sweet Tooth and the movie City of God, because it's got that level of violence, but it's a little more slapstick than both of those. There's some really funny parts to it. But I'm just been really enjoying that. This dude's art is incredible. The first book was in color, but the second one's in black and white. And I don't know which one I actually like better. I think his art actually looks a little better in black and white. It's got a bit of a manga flair to this second book. And
would you even say it looks a little? It's got some at times like Jamie Hewlett vibes to it.
Oh, definitely. Like I'm not going to say the art's manga, really the very manga-esque, but it's a lot. Yeah, very Jamie Hewlett.
Especially his later stuff, right?
Yeah, definitely not straight up Tank Girl, but yeah, I would say it's really hard to place this guy's art. I'd say a little bit more on the European style side of things, but the book's very very Western, and it's just a lot of fun. Like I really like it. It's kind of got like a total hood sensibility to it, but like at the same time, like with the stuff that Ellie's showing, like it's just got some like really killer action, and I don't know. I just think I think it's a lot of fun, and I think it's kind of a cool breath of fresh air for a lot of the stuff that's been coming out, because it's pretty character heavy, which I think is good. And I think a lot of big name writers don't really do characters very well nowadays. So it's kind of nice to see something that really has good fleshed out characters, even if they are kind of weird anthropomorphic animal people.
That boy gonna get recruited for that. John, that Wingspan.
Yeah.
You know what's so funny is I've heard people talk about this book before, but I have been confusing it with King of Nowhere, and I said that's still going.
Yes.
And so when I clicked on this, I said, when did they get a monkey man?
Yeah, because there's Kings of Nowhere and King of Nowhere, right? One is plural, one is singular, so it is confusing. Yeah. So not to be confused with that is a Boom book, right? The other one. Yeah, this
Yeah, I
is the
think
dark
so.
horse. Yeah, this is the dark horse one. Yeah.
And I'm not sure what kind of deal they have with this guy, because like you don't really hear about this book very much. Like I found out about it on accident. I've never heard anybody else talk about it, but like I'm kind of really happy I found it. Like I think it's only going to be 3 books long, so this next one's going to be the last one. But and that should be out in a couple months. Like I think it said later this year. So they've been coming out pretty quick. Like the second one dropped at the end of last year. So yeah, I'd definitely say get on this. It's a lot of fun.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe this guy works in multiple fields like animation, gaming, all this stuff. And you're getting a lot of these creators, like these cartoonists that are putting out comics that actually work in multiple fields. It's becoming more and more common. They branch out all over the place.
Yeah, I saw the trade cover for this back in March when like through like a publisher email, like like what's it called, a PR message.
Okay,
and so I was like, that's when I was like, oh, they're still doing King of Nowhere.
Press kit, press junket.
Yeah, it was like a press kit for it. And I thought it was King of Nowhere. I was like, well, I'm behind, so I'm not gonna cover it because I thought it was the Maxwell Prince.
And I think this only gets released as trades, right, Johnny? As graphic novels.
Graphic novels, pretty much. Yeah. European style. This one's actually really big, though, man. This one's like 200 something pages, whereas the first one was kind of 100. So this one's almost double the size. But like I said, this one's in black and white, whereas the first one was in color, which doesn't bother me personally. Like back when I first started reading indie, like most of the books you would get were black and white. Like it was
maybe because it was a bigger issue. Maybe they decided to go black and white to meet the deadline.
Yeah, like I said, his art looks beautiful in black and white, though. I almost like it better.
Yeah, that was like one of its selling points. Like when it was like presented, like, oh yeah, and the interiors are in black and white.
Yeah, like some books are fantastic in black and white.
Yeah, especially when you have that kind of fighting style, like in the manga-esque stuff.
Like when you have an illustrator that has great line work, you know, it's nice to see their work in black and white without any colors or anything to really get a feel for their penmanship.
Oh, for sure. Like I can't wait for everybody to read The Sickness, because Jenna Cha, her line, love it, obsessed. Couldn't imagine it in color, wouldn't want it in color.
The less I say about that book, the better.
Johnny's not
The Sickness?
I'm in half agreement with Johnny. There's one part of the book that I thought dragged. The diner scene I thought was stretched a little too long. But aside from that, the rest I'm
like,
cool with the rest.
Book about dudes sitting there talking about going fishing, man, like in their dad's arm, and like, what even is this?
But I think that's kind of what I like when it was one of the more appealing parts, was that the dragging of everything, because it kind of like pulled on that existential dread. Because me personally, I hate small talk. I hate being somewhere when I don't want to be there. So I was uncomfortable. I was getting more agitated the longer that scene went on. And so then, like, with the little seedlings, like, and I think that's what I liked about it, because it is very much, you know, and I don't want to sound like one of those people, but it is very like Ito-esque. Huh?
Oh, Ito-esque, I gotcha.
Yeah, it's very Ito-esque in tone, and I feel it's probably the closest in terms of tone and atmosphere that I've seen in a Western comic. Because there's a lot of comics where they'll just slap it on the front, like Junji Ito meets, and it's like, no, it does, no, it's not. Stop it. And I really did. I'll honestly say that, like, at the end of the first issue of The Sickness, and not just because I already bought the subscription bundle, but I really was like, just dreading, like, just that not in your stomach feeling, because of how mundane, but you know things are about to go bad, because that's just how life is. And so I like that it pulled on those mental illnesses of mine.
I enjoyed the rest of it, like the setup for the rest of the little, because there's like, what, 4 different storylines or 3 different storylines, kind of
Mhm.
that'll end up interconnecting. But yeah, I dug the rest. The rest of it was great, but I thought the cafe scene was a little drawn out, a little, like, I know that's the goal of it is to draw it out a little bit and really, you know, the slow burn. But I thought it was like the burn went out on that part. There was no more burn. It went too long.
You're like,
the
now I'm
match
just
went out.
irritated.
There's no more burn left. It's too late.
You see that, and then like when they pitch it, that's how they have to see. That was the goal. The goal was to get you so agitated.
I burnt the book after I was done.
That you as a reader snapped.
Yeah, exactly. I killed everyone in my family after reading this book.
Oh, no. But also, how good is that for PR? Like, that's amazing press.
Imagine! Oh my God. What would you do? Would you, like, as a creator and a publisher, what would you do? Would you how do you handle that? Let's say someone read your book and then they went out and killed their entire family after. How do you handle that as a creator and a publisher? Like,
so first of all, have to release it, no publisher. It would have to be super indie, self-published. And also, your quote is going on the back of that bad boy. You are the pull quote.
Yeah, just a picture of your like mugshot, you know.
And then you have to, because you have to play it up, like kind of like when OJ's book came out, like they banned it immediately. But if you got that digital copy before they pulled it, you got that copy. So you kind of have to make it a little salacious, like a little sleazy, like. You know, this is the same book that drove this person to, you know, XYZ, because now it becomes like macabre cult. Like, yeah,
like kind of like The Ring. Like you watch the tape and something bad happens. So you read this book and, you know, you don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, you could play it off for sure. You'd almost have to like do the black bag, right?
And then I would be like,
with like a disclaimer right on it, like this book may cause murder.
And then I would do like a misleading, like proceeds of this book go to survivors of whatever, but technically
you would have to,
but since technically I lived through it as a bystander, you know, technically I am a survivor of this event. So
I think you just gave James Tinian IV the idea for his next book, Joe. This book may cause murder. I could see it by James Tinian coming from Boom.
The actual internet may cause murder. That was the premise of World Tree, right? The actual internet has titties, and it will kill you.
Women presenting nipples. Come on.
I'm sorry. Female presenting internet.
All right. We did you have any other books, Johnny? We kind of sidetracked your reading.
Yeah. I read What's the Furthest Place from Here, issue 12. Which okay, yep. It wasn't the most exciting issue. I'm a little late to picking it up. Like I went and got my pull a couple weeks late, but I got it and read it. It wasn't as exciting as the last couple issues did because it just kind of showed another angle to a part of the story we'd already seen.
Okay.
But I like it. I like where it's going. I'm more interested in the next issue than this one because like I already knew like this happened. I just didn't see this character's point of view.
Perspective, Yeah.
You said 12, right?
Yeah, that one. And
I like the cover. It's cute.
All the covers are rad, man, with all the house, all the different houses. And this one, they actually don't show this house until the very end of the book. But I'm actually really interested in meeting this family because like they all hang out and wear like Halloween masks of like famous monsters and stuff. So like there's like this kid in a Wolfman mask.
She's still pregnant. 12 issues in.
Well, no, like I said, this one's kind of a flashback and shows you something.
Oh, okay. I mean, I haven't only read the first issue, so I can't even. That was like a fake outcry. So,
because she's already had the kid and the baby's born in a lot of the newer issues, but this one kind of shows you a different angle of what happens. I think in issue 8. With the bold folks home, with the kids that pretend to be old people, make them drink cocoa and shit. Like this book's weird, but it's a lot of fun, man. Like I like what Rosie's doing with it. Like I was a little worried because I didn't really like most of his Marvel work, but like seeing Rosenberg and Boss step back up and do something really good together again, like it just feels good. And like it's probably one of the strongest book Image has out right now. It's definitely kind of feeling the niche that like got left open when Deadly Class ended and a lot of my other Rick Remender books ended. Like,
yeah, and my copies made it safely to Goose, so I didn't burn them.
Yeah, you're eventually gonna have to read that book so we can talk about it, dog. Like,
sooner or later, because I would like to get the deluxe edition, which would probably be another year off before they put out a hardcover for it. But I could just go get it digitally off Kindle, worst case scenario.
And then last but not least, I read Saga issue 64, which I kind of talked about in the chat a little bit, but I loved it so much. I kind of want to talk about it here. This is an issue that probably make Elle cry. There's a lot of missing of the fathers in this. But like, yeah, no, when I was reading, I was like, oh man, Homegirl would be so crying when she but like, yeah, Squire and Hazel basically got talked into doing somebody's dirty work for him, and they kind of get busted by a cop, but Squire ain't having it. He thinks the cop's lying to him, so he kind of like learned how to form his gun arm, because the robots in Saga can do that. They can make like a cannon arm, and like this book kind of ends with a kind of a square off between Squire and a police officer, which is kind of foretelling. I think it's going to end really sad, because like goddamn Brian K. Vaughan likes to do that to me, like we talked about on our Books That Make Us Cry episode. I think he's kind of setting up for something like that with Squire and this cop. But yeah, I can't wait to see where it goes, man. Like it's Saga, you know what I mean? Like and yeah,
actually, if people are interested in getting into Saga, I just went on Humble Bundle yesterday, and they have all the volumes as one of the bundles. What was it? Images, Leading Ladies, or something like that? Or was that the one? Yeah, they have a bundle, Image, Leading Ladies, and it's all books with women in the lead roles of the stories. So I think there's 18 days left, so they probably just posted it. So if you want to pick all those up on the cheap and you don't mind reading digital, go to Humble Bundle and you can pick up that Image bundle that's available right now. Yeah,
that's cool. They're throwing Alana some love, man. Like, I'm not really one of them guys that are too in love with comic book chicks, but I really do like Alana from Saga. I think she's probably like one of the most lovable characters ever. She's a dipshit, but she's like a good mom, or she really tries to be. But I don't know, like the situations are just never kind to her, but she rolls with it. And yeah, hey Juan, you have a great weekend too.
Yeah, take it easy, Juan. Hit that pavement, man. Rip it up.
Vault also has
Vault has a bundle that's 5 or 6 days left, so if you want that one, you'd have to jump on it soon. Yeah,
hold on, let me get the link for the
Vault has a bundle up too. So there's 2 great comic bundles out on Humble right now, Humble Bundle. So if you want to read comics on the cheap, man, go check out, like every couple of weeks, go check out the Humble Bundle. They always have some great packages put together for comics. And you're doing a good cause, because, a lot of that money goes to charity as well. So, get your read on, and you can help some people out at the same time.
You get a lot of really good comics legally cheap.
Yeah, for real cheap. Like, I think the minimum donation to get all those books on Image would be like $30-something, and you get 20 trades for $30, something like that. So I mean, that's value right there.
Yeah, the Saga loans, that's 11 books. So
yeah. So
and then I think it's $2 minimum for like volume 1 of Monstrous, Paper Girls, Saga, and Wayward. So even that, $2.
Yeah, they have different tiers. Yeah, if you want them all, it's so much for a minimum donation, and you have different tiers. And if you want them all, I think it's always around $30 to $40 for if you want to take the whole bundle. Yeah,
that's the lineup, man. That's a good bunch of books all around right there. That is a killer bundle to get all of them.
Yeah, it was good. I went and checked it out. They hadn't put together. Well, I'd kind of slacked on Humble Bundle for a while, but I've been checking it regularly in the last couple months, and that's a really good. The Vault and the Image one are 2 really, really good bundles. So,
see, I usually use Humble Bundle for games. They usually have DRM free games, like really good deals. On there.
Yeah, it's a great site to go get deals, man. Like I I highly recommend. I can't recommend that site enough. Like, I mean, you have to visit it on the regular because a lot of it changes up a lot, but there's some great stuff on that site. So go check it out.
Or don't spend money and don't read books.
Or play games or whatever. Do whatever you want, but
do whatever you want. Because that's what Kid Johnny did, or Joey. He did whatever he wanted. Look at him now. Saving money on Humble Bundle.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm cheap.
He turned into the same miser he was throwing poop bags at.
Oh, shit. Anything else, Johnny, for reading, or those are your three?
Yeah, that's it. Like,
cool.
I saw some movies, but I don't think we're going to talk about that. So,
no, why not? What movie did you see?
I watched the what's it called? 𝐂𝐸.
𝐂𝐸? Yeah.
Yeah. I watched that. I rented that last night. That was a lot of fun. It wasn't as exciting as the trailer made it look, but like I still had
I just watched the trailer, so I was like, oh, I was curious, but now you just answered the question I was going to ask you.
No, it's still really good, and it's still got a lot to it, but like it's kind of a little more Sergio Leone than John Wick.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a very very good, cool visual film. Like and yeah, I had a blast with it. Like, I highly recommend checking out 𝐂𝐸. Like, if you got the $20 to rent it.
Yeah, because it's home premiere now, right?
Yeah. And I watched Ant-Man 3, and I'm gonna be the only person that probably says that, like, I don't think it's half as bad as a lot of people make it out. Now, it's not a good movie. It's not one of MCU's best, but like, it is way better than Thor 4 and a couple of the other ones that have come out. Like, I still really enjoyed a lot of parts of it. I thought Paul Rudd was charming as hell.
Yeah. I'll give it that. It's better than Thor.
I like a lot of the characters, but the funny thing is like, it was kind of just Thor Ragnarok all over again. Just
a little bit.
Funny.
Yeah.
They kind of did the same things with kind of some of the same characters. Like,
see, I watched both Shazam and that one last week, and I thought Shazam was actually pretty good. I don't know why a lot of people didn't like it. I really enjoyed it.
Well, I would say it's right there with Ant-Man 3. It's not nowhere near as good as the first one, but like it's not a terrible film like people are saying it was. It's a lot of fun. If you like the kids from the first one, like, they are still just as good and funny. And I kind of didn't really I thought Shazam was kind of annoying, like the actual character Shazam.
Oh yeah, how he wants to keep everyone together all the time and shit like that. Yeah. Like the Big Brother syndrome.
I kind of thought he was the worst part of his own movie, tragically, but yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah. That one I was I went in thinking it was going to be horrible, and it wasn't bad. So the dragon was cool. I love the dragon. That was cool.
That reminds me. I also watched Dungeons and Dragons with Chris Pine. That was a lot of fun too.
Yeah.
There was this big fat dragon in it. It reminds me of my cat Mibu, because he's like a little couch bison, as I like to call him. And yeah, like, I was watching that with him. I'm just like, look, Mibu, there's a U dragon in this movie, and he was just like at
me. I've binge watched Selling Sunset season 6. Disgusted. I'm disgusted with myself. I know.
Selling Sunset.
No, don't just.
What is it?
It's like a reality show on Netflix about. I would say it's about realty, but it's.
You already lost me when you said reality show.
Is that the one where, like, they're in different rooms and they're dating each other?
No, that's Love Is Blind. Not that I watch that, but I do. But no, Selling Sunset is like they sell like multi-million-dollar properties in Los Angeles.
Okay.
It's like, it's not a good show, but the drama is just petty enough to keep me invested, like, out of my tax bracket, but also they're not like anybody's wives or anything like that. Like, it is, I will say that, like, you know, women making their own money and making their own mistakes in life. And this season they had like one of Nick Cannon's baby moms on there.
Okay.
So it was just dumb. Like, I'm like, what is, like, and then I'm tweeting about it, like.
It's good for people that like tabloid stuff, right?
Yeah, but yeah, I guess like
Fodder.
the biggest like tabloid stuff from this would have been like Chriselle Strauss, like she was married to Justin Hartley, and he like publicly divorced her through a text message, and that was like in the tabloids. But like, you know what? I feel like I have like a bar that I won't go under for reality TV. Like I will not watch like Real Housewives of like New Jersey, New York. I'm good. Like Vanderpump Rules and all that stuff. No, thank you. So like all that to do right now with like Scandival and stuff. I don't know. And I tried to watch some of that, and I just couldn't. I don't care.
What did we start watching this week? Oh, From. We started the first season of From.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I like the
That's
first
not
season.
bad. Yeah, it wasn't bad. We're what, 3 or 4 episodes in? It's not bad.
It got like weird, unnecessary, like negative hype. When it first came out, I thought a lot of people were like negging it just to neg it, but it really wasn't awful. Like it was, I liked it enough.
Yeah, it's not bad. We're enjoying it.
It felt like 90s, like, you know what I mean? Like it kind of had like a retro vibe to it in its storytelling.
Like very almost like X-Files ish, but
yeah, like Stephen King-esque.
Stephen King, yeah, exactly. Yeah. I get that vibe too. Yeah. And I keep watching a couple Wu-Tang episodes here and there. I'm on season 2 now, so yeah, they're getting closer to being a group.
I started watching The Rookie because you guys ever have like a TV show that it has to have a lot of seasons that you could just put on like during the day and it's just on like all day long. And so
Nathan Fillion, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't watch it when it first came on because, you know, 𝐂𝐸, and also it was like right after he stopped doing that other show where he was a writer.
Castle?
What was it called?
Castle?
Yeah.
Oh, Castle, yeah.
And so I felt like it came out kind of, maybe it didn't, and maybe my brain is just like recency bias, but I was just like, another Nathan Fillion show, I'm good. And so, not that I don't like him, just like I was like, oh, that was kind of close. Like it was.
I think it did. It was right on the heels, I think.
And
of the
same
other
network, I thought it was like, I don't know. But I've like, not only have I been loving it, but like I watched like 11 episodes in 2 days. And so that's been like my go-to binge show right now. Yeah.
I've been seeing it on Hulu. Like I didn't know if it was any good. I haven't heard anybody talk about it.
Yeah, and there's like 7 seasons, which is great for my like, you know, OCD-esque brain where like I need a constant like background thing while I'm doing something else. And there's enough seasons of the show where it's like, yeah, it's cool. Like I'm familiar with. I can leave the room and come back, and I don't feel like I missed anything.
So yeah, man.
What show? Oh, I was talking Pee-wee's Playhouse. Oh, also just because I want to make sure that I stuck to my word and I covered everything that I said I would, is here are the 2023 Eisner nominees.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy. Night Eaters is up on there, man. Like we talked about that book on our show, man.
Which one?
Night Eaters is up for it.
Oh yeah,
Night Eaters, yeah.
And then
homegirl Zoe Thurgood getting
excited for her.
For both Rain and her solo book, which both are really good. So good for her. She's a tremendous talent.
Batman One Bad Day, The Riddler, like that seems to be everybody's favorite, and I really feel like they did flex on that one. But there has been a few One Bad Days that I was like, okay, that was solid. But I do plan on buying that collection. I think it drops in like August or something, the hardcover set.
Yeah.
So I stopped reading them because I'm like, now I want to be surprised when I read them all together.
Yeah.
Best continuing series. None of these are a surprise. Well, actually, She-Hulk, I was a little surprised by. I have been enjoying it, but I didn't think anybody else was. Department of Truth, I was surprised because I forgot there was an arc last year.
Oh. Do they separate the categories like for like big 2 and then indie stuff, or is it all?
No, it's all together. And if you guys look around this place right here, best new series.
Yeah.
Oops, my bad, my mouse got stuck. But how?
Definitely not best loyal Kickstarter, that's for sure.
I did end up getting the comics that I did not get like months later, and they were signed, and he sent number 2 as well. So
you end up reading it? I've never read mine.
No,
I read it in my Kickstarter comic box. Like I was just like,
you know, you have. So listen, I have like a. I'm not gonna lie, I have like a stack of Kickstarters I haven't even touched since I like got them from the mailbox, and it's just because I'm very much in a whatever phase right now. Do a power bomb in the teen section. I was kind of surprised by that. And then I hate this place. Best humor. I didn't realize that was a comedy.
Yeah, it has its moments there that are kind of
like, is it like satire-esque? I've only read the first
Yeah, it's absurd. There's like absurd moments in it, kind of. Like just the fact that they even stay in the house on the farm is just absurd. So, yeah.
Best anthology. So for a creep show to have been, I wish that because it was the same publisher After School, I felt was a better flex of anthology series.
After School was pretty good, yeah.
And you know what? Inappropriate for kids, but my daughter loved it. And you know what's so funny? The stork one, the abortion one, it wasn't the abortion or teen pregnancy that freaked her out. She was like, no, it wasn't the stork or none of that stuff that freaked her out. It was or abortion or none of that. She was just like, why would you want a baby? Like that was like what she took away from it. Was like, no, the bird was cool. Like she was drawing. My daughter loves to draw. She was drawing weird birds for days. But the teen pregnancy, she was like, that's ew. She's like, why would you want to have a baby in high school? And I'm like, you don't want to. It's an accident.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, in most cases, unless you've made a pact with your friends, as we've seen on Lifetime Movie Network several times. What was Night Eater's best graphic album? For which, what does that mean when they say graphic album?
Yeah, I don't get that.
Because Maze Book Dark Horse Direct Edition best graphic album reprint.
Maybe album means
the actual presentation of the book.
Okay.
Okay.
I have to go. I don't know if they have a description for each category if you go on the site. And
well, I'm on a third-party site just because it was easier to read on the third-party site.
On the third-party site than their actual site, yeah.
For which, having invested the money into Maze Book Dark Horse Direct Edition, I'm gonna have to rock with my guy here. I love the Super Spy Deluxe Edition packaging with like that brown paper bag.
Yeah,
that was super cool, but I spent over $100 for Maze Book, so I'm gonna have to get some return on that. Best adaptation from another medium. Yeah, you got Rain by Joe Hill. Did you guys ever read the whole of Rain?
I did.
I still have to read the final issue.
Okay. I like the beginning more than I like the end. I guess I could say.
I really like the art in it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Zoe is great. Ridiculous. Yeah. I like the idea of this title. I don't know what it's about. 10 Days in a Madhouse. I like the idea of that. Well, no, I don't like the idea of it, but it feels like that every day, huh? Yeah. Best writer. So for best writer, you can write one book and get nominated. But then it's like, hold on, let me be real with you guys. I've never heard of this book before. Maybe Flung Out of Space. Have you guys?
It sounds. I've seen it somewhere. It sounds familiar. The title. Yeah, I don't know. Mark Russell. Yeah, he's been putting out a lot of work in the last couple years.
Yeah. Between his indie stuff with what's
AWA?
Well, not
'Cause
just AWA. Not bad idea. What's the Ahoy comics? He does a lot of
Oh,
stuff.
okay.
Right?
Because isn't Mark Russell? Is he the one that wrote the robot one?
Why is that on the tip of my tongue and I can't think of the name?
Yeah, I think I'm not sure unless I'm mistaken him with another writer, but
was it him and Diodata? Was it Mark Russell? I feel like it was. Now that you say it.
yeah, I'm not sure the title, the robot one where they're.
Because he won and didn't he? Oh yeah, because he did Flintstones.
And I think he won for Snagglepuss, right? His Snagglepuss comic.
Snagglepuss, okay.
Yeah, he won with his Snagglepuss. Yeah, that had to be him, Man Russ, because that's his username. I think that's. Oh, I didn't. Oh, he wrote Space Age. You're like, it's right there, you stupid bitch. Yeah, I see it now.
I got $10 on Tinian, man.
Yeah. Tinian, I feel is like I don't want to say a pimp, but I feel like he's like kind of like the pimp of comics right now, because what he does is he conceives an idea and then he gets a writer and he's like co-write. He's like the Beyonce of like co-writes right now. So you have like because Tate Bromble is writing Christopher Chaos, or is that what it's called? The Pedestrian Life of Christopher Chaos. So, it's Tinian's idea. Tate Bromble's writing it. With House of Slaughter, you have James Tinian on story, and then you have the writer. And so I feel like he's just like the Beyonce of co-writes right now. And I love that for him, that he's reached that place in his career where it's like, hey, I have this idea. You write it, though. And so I think that's, good on him. And for him to still be the one nominated for everything is a good look for him. Chip Zdarsky, Stillwater, and Daredevil, for which he's nominated for
Dead Box. Okay, that's one
What's the other book he's nominated for? Like, he was actually nominated. Is it Best New Series for? Public Domain. They don't even mention it in the Best Writer credits. And I was like, so is it just good enough for new series, not good enough for your body of work? Yeah. Best Writer Artist. Again, I only know this last two. I'm not familiar with the first
Kate
three.
Beaton. That book's supposed to be pretty good about her working the tar sands in out west, Western Canada. I've heard a lot of people say a lot of great
it's Canadian?
About that one.
That's probably why.
Yeah, John and Quarterly.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of good stuff about that one.
But Zoe, again, I feel like It's Lonely at the Center of the Earth is like it transcended. Yeah, that.
I got $10.
A lot of female creators nominated there. I think there was only one dude, and the rest are all women. That's good.
Best penciler inker team.
Sean Alexander, yeah, for sure.
Alvaro Martinez, again. Nice House on the Lake, I never finished. I think it went to like hiatus, like it went on break twice when it said it was only going to go once, and after the first break I said, okay, I'm out.
I never got started.
Okay. I think it had that first issue is perfection. I think the first issue is fantastic, and then it was each issue was good, but I felt like just because DC announced that there were going to be breaks, it made me like drag, and I was like, well, I don't care, like it's going to be 3 months before I read the next one. Best painter multimedia, again, I feel like because of Zoe flexing all of the different styles she could do, and multimedia is like best cover artist for multiple covers.
Alex Ross, yeah, there's pretty much a lot of familiar names there too.
And then coloring and lettering, I was not. I don't want to say I'm like a Hassan stan or a Aditya stan, but I was kind of surprised neither of them were on this list.
They were in there.
At least one of them, because to me, those are Well, I guess it's personal, but like those are my two faves. But I think it's funny, like Hassan to be nominated for panel by panel, and they're like, yeah, but like talk about the comics, don't do them. we're not gonna nominate you for work.
I like that Stan Sakai is nominated for lettering, like, and nothing else. Like, kind of, because like he does my favorite comic book in the world. It's good to see him like represented a little bit here, but like, I don't know, like lettering.
And Mr. Thomas Woodruff, that's the racist, isn't he? Oh well, I guess.
Is he? I don't know.
Yeah, apparently, like he went on like some tirades. He's like a dean of something at some college.
Okay.
And he's been called on it several times. And like the contents of his book are like sexualizing children with animals, and it's just a lot of weird stuff. And so I had never heard of this book, and then I did a deep dive, and then I said I don't know why I did that. Like I didn't really need to see that. And I don't necessarily think that it's overt stuff, but if you have like where there's like smoke, there's fire usually when it comes to, especially in college. I feel like a lot of times college professors think that they're challenging you, or that they're forcing you to think outside of the box or think harder by having hot takes. And it's like sometimes you don't have to have a hot take, you're just being racist or you're just being an asshole. And so I think it's like a thin line, and it's really easy to cross over and not expect backlash, especially in 2023. Yeah. So but yeah. There was
I don't go on Twitter much anymore. I don't keep up with all the chatter all that much anymore.
My feed is nothing but other people's posts I don't follow. Like I don't even know. And then sometimes I'll get a tweet from somebody I do know, and I'm like, where have you been? And I'll click their name, and it's like months of tweets I haven't seen, just because nobody I know pops up on my feed anymore.
Well, it's because I think people are playing. Like I got one from this person I don't follow, and they had a blue check mark, right? You're pretty much paying to have your tweets show up more than others.
Yeah.
Right, with the blue check mark. So
I literally only go on there for the shit posts now. Like I'll go on there for the memes, and I always get like out of context, like porn scenes and stuff like that. Those are so funny to me. And so like 99, because I used to use Twitter for what's the word when you talk to other people? Networking and stuff.
Networking.
I don't use it for that anymore. Use it for that anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, Eisner's. Oh, I hate those ads at the bottom. Stop sharing. So yeah, that was the show, guys.
Awesome.
Eisner's. We talked DVD. We talked babies getting slapped and punched.
Yep.
Poop
bags.
Drug poop. Which isn't leaving my brain anytime soon. Like
or your nose, or your nasal passages.
Junkie droppings. We covered a lot of stuff. I mean, hopefully you guys enjoyed it.
Or not.
Or not, because we're out.
But you can't say we didn't talk comics this episode.
No, we talked plenty of comics, I think.
Minimal 90%. Sidebars.
Yeah, tangents were even touched on comics for some of them, so yeah.
Well,
have a great Sunday, everybody, and thanks for having us on, Elle. Always enjoy it.
It's okay, guys. You guys can leave now. I know I promised you guys. It just gets weird in the outro. I paid you guys to show up. No.
You guys said we could have.
Wait, hold on.
Wait! Don't say anything. It's still going. I think